Why you still think about that moment?
I'm about to let y'all into a little portion of my life. Do not judge me. I'm just going to be completely honest, okay? So, I'm a mother of 6. Now, I had my first child when I was 14, my second one when I was 16, my third one when I was 17, my fourth one when I was 18. Now, this story revolves around the child I had when I was 18. So, I met my ex-husband when I was 15, and we had our first child when I was 16, meaning I had one prior to that. So I gave birth to a little girl, my second one, with my ex-husband, which would be his first. Then we had a son. Then I was pregnant at 18 with my next daughter. Keep all this in mind. So while I'm pregnant, me and my ex-husband, we were house hunting because he had done got a good job. He'd been working good for a while. We done stacked some money up. Well, he done stacked some money up for us. But nonetheless, it's just. So y'all, we come across this beautiful house. I mean, beautiful. And when we come across it, they're remodeling it. They're opening up spaces. They doing all kinds of construction to it. It is going to be a brand new, totally new house when it's finished. So when we come across it, we mess around, see the workers in there. They give us the number of the people who own it. We call them. They like, you give us the deposit. We'll save the house for you. So we with the shit. So we like, yeah, cool. Now, y'all, this is a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath house. Full 2-car garage, a full upstairs attic, and then what they would call a washroom behind the garage. And the backyard, immaculate. You hear me? I mean, it is gorgeous. You just had to be there. But you really had to be there to know all the creepy stuff that was getting ready to occur. And it was several people there who can actually coincide with my story. So, the day I give birth to my daughter is the day the people call and say, hey, the house is ready. Oh, but I just gave birth, right? My baby daddy didn't care about none of that. He moved us in while I was in hospital. And then the rent was dirt cheap. That's when we should have knew something was wrong. So this is the very first occurrence of when I knew it was some shit going on. Y'all, it was cold as hell in there. And it's early August. And I live in North Carolina. And if you know anything about North Carolina, it's hot. It's 90 degrees in early August. So I'm opening up doors and windows, cleaning up and stuff, getting the house put together because my baby daddy going to work. He done moved us in. So I got to do something while I'm there. Y'all, on the second night, I'm sitting in there. My daughter's crying. I'm making her a bottle. I see her bottle on the countertop. It moves from one end of the countertop to the other.
It's time to
Then
go.
back to where it started.
Oh no.
Come back for part 2.
It's time to go.
Tell me what's the creepiest experience you ever had in
Oh,
your
this
life
one.
and why you still think about that moment.
Ooh, I have a good one. It's story time, and this time I'm gonna take you back to Japan. It was on one of those nights where my husband was deployed, so of course I was by myself with my daughter. We were asleep, and I remember hearing my daughter crying, like whimpering, but it was a different cry. It wasn't a cry that she was hungry or, baby cry. No, she sounded like she was scared. Now, she sounded so far away, so immediately I just opened my eyes. But I realized that I was paralyzed, so I was having sleep paralysis. And I remember that I could see her from the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay, don't freak out, don't freak out. And I could hear my heartbeat like race, and I was like, no, 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 just chill out, breathe, start praying. So I started praying, and next thing you know, I just felt a big ass hand go like this, and like the nails went all the way to the back of my neck, and it just started choking me.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
this. Like I could just feel like the grip. And I was just holding on to myself, and I just started thinking, get the fuck off me, get the F off me, get off me, get off me. I just kept yelling like in my head, and it finally just released me. And when it did, I was like coughing because it was choking the shit out of me. And I remember just getting up and grabbing my baby because she was scared. She was crying hard. And I grabbed her and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And I was just going like this. I was just kind of like trying to calm her down, calm myself down. I had, mind you, I had the TV on, right? So the TV lets out like a glare, some light. In the corner, it was pitch black. Pitch black. Like you cannot see anything. And I knew it was there. So I stood up and I was like, praying, telling it to get the fuck out of my room. You don't belong here. The thing is that I was saying all this in Spanish. Right away, my brain's like, say this shit in Spanish. And I started praying and I started praying hard. And next thing you know, it replied. And when it replied, it said this.
No, it's mine.
And I just kept saying to get out, get the fuck out. We're protected. We're children of God. Get out. And it eventually left. And I had marks. I had like the marks on my neck. And yeah, it left. Crazy shit, right?
Tell me, what's the creepiest experience you ever had in your life and why you still think about them?
I've always debated whether or not I wanted to tell TikTok about this experience, but fuck it, here we go. So me and my sister were in the backyard playing with the water hose. I was about 6 or 7 years old. It was a real gloomy day. Either it had just rained or was about to start raining, but we was outside playing. So there was like this little neighborhood tale that the house across from me and to the right had there was this lady and she had apparently died in the house or whatever. And so all the kids was like, oh, that's why the house is vacant. And we didn't know what the fuck we was talking about. Nothing was ever proven, but nonetheless. So we playing, everything cool. And I just remember looking up and you could see the side of their house from the side of our house. So I just literally looked up and I just seen a lady.
Tell me, what's the creepiest experience you ever had in your life and why you still think about them?
Some stories for this stitch right here. So first of all, I grew up in like a haunted ass house. My house was like the house for like cookouts, barbecues, all of that stuff back in the day. I'm talking about back in the day like I'm that old. So I had 12 spirits in my house. First things first. I got a lot of stories to tell, but this one still gives me goosebumps till this day. I'm gonna tell two actually. So one day I was getting up for school. I was in like high school. It was my 9th grade year, right? So the way my house set up, I stayed upstairs. So like when you come out my room, the stairs are right here. So you come out my room and you look to your left and it's stairs. And it's 16 stairs. And like it has a light on the staircase, but it wasn't no light down there. But my bedroom light was on and the bathroom light was on. So my room right here, the stairs right here, and you walk some and it's the bathroom. So it's enough light to illuminate downstairs a little bit. So you can see basically. So I come out my room. I remember I was rubbing my eye and something just told me, look. So I looked to my left and I looked down the stairs. Y'all tell me why it's a little girl looking back at me. Like, I swear to God, like, the stuff you would see in movies, that's exactly what was looking at me like. It was a little girl in a white creamish dress. She had brown hair and her hair stopped like right here. And she was like, wasn't in the middle of the stairs. She was like to the side of it, like where the banister is, and just looking at me. And it creeped me the hell out. Like, I'm looking at her and I turn around to make sure like I'm not tripping or dreaming or nothing. I pinch myself like, okay. I look back and she's still fucking looking at me. And I'm like, oh, hell nah. So I just went back in my room, slept through school, didn't even go to school that day because of that. So yeah, that's number one. And then later on, I told my sister, like, girl, I seen something this morning. And she said, oh, that little girl. So later on, I asked my sister, I was like, girl, I seen something today. And she was like, oh, you seen that little girl? And I'm like, so first of all, she seen the little girl too. And she knew exactly what she looked like. She explained what she looked like to me, everything that I had saw. So that was confirmation I wasn't dreaming, I wasn't tripping. I really wanted to tell another story, but y'all gonna have to come back for part 2.
Tell me what's the creepiest experience